What is up? Connor here. Time to gain some perspective. And we'll be talking about the big picture today. And now there's different sizes of big pictures. You know, there's small pictures, there's medium pictures, there's incredibly large pictures. And sort of going through the different levels of perspective you can have. And let's start with the most personal, which is, your picture. Like, what do you want for your life? What's the meaning? Because your life has meaning. What is the meaning for your life? What good do you want to do over the course of your life? Because we all die. What's the meaning of death? Well, if there's death, then that almost, like, as an inversion, what's the meaning of death? Well, it's to live. So we work back from death, and it's to live. And how do you live the most? How do you define what living is the most for you? And that's that frame, that picture. Some people walking about as well. Look behind my shoulder, don't worry. And yeah, like a bigger picture from that would be like service. Like, how can you influence people and provide value and be useful in your life? So it's not the personal, like, what do you want from life? It's now, how can you impact everyone around you? How can you make everyone's life better, if that's even possible? How can you actualize on your potential to then provide the greatest good to the greatest amount of people? And these are some big questions, and they'll get bigger as well as you go into legacy. Like, what do you want after you're gone? Like, what impact do you want to have on your children and your children's generation and the generations after that? And if that's even possible. And can you have a ripple effect of, positivity? Because if you start thinking into the future, it's like, well, I guess a good way to do it is from the past, right? Like, we're in such a good place now because people left legacies. They left technology, they left wisdom, they wrote down their hard-earned, wisdom from their life stories. And we gotta stand on the shoulders of giants. I think it was Isaac Newton that said that. And, pay our respects by doing the same for future generations. I think that's quite a cool way to look at it. Like, if I'm ever feeling bogged down by my current problems, my current, issues, I'm just I zoom out a bit. I'm like, all right, what do I really want from my life? Like, can I be happy with exactly what I have now in the present while working towards what I want in the future? Can I forgive, anything or how I'm feeling or perhaps something I'm doing or have done? It's like, yeah, I can move forward. It's the least I can do, right? Because you develop that selfless attitude when you start thinking about, what can I do that transcends myself to my tribe, my family, my community, the world. I mean, that's possible with the internet now, the leverage that we have. You can really make an impact to millions of people by uploading one video. I know this won't get millions of views, but it's the potential's there. It's on a platform that millions of people use. Might even be billions, couldn't tell you. And say half of the population of the world are on the internet. In a couple generations time, I imagine most, 90% of the world will be on the internet. They'll have the infrastructure the internet capabilities, the electrical capabilities, the leverage capabilities, the education will be digitized and free to access, and there'll be less boundaries. There'll be more propagation of like ideas and collaboration, especially with the way everything's going with the digital. It's really quite a cool thing. And I mentioned like a really big picture, which is, just zoom out again, get a bit existential, but it's like humanity's only been here for such a small amount of time in terms of the universe from the Big Bang. I know it's quite big, billions of years. And I think if you extrapolate it to like 24 hours, we've been here for a second, like as an equivalent. And that's really no time at all. We could like spontaneously combust in some sort of primal way, because that's what we are. We're still primitive. And that's a cool thing. We still have those evolutionary tendencies. And the universe will be here probably long after we're gone, in terms of a race, a intelligence. I hope there will be other intelligent life in the universe, and maybe there's some way we can preserve some of our lessons to then, for other intelligent life to like stand on our shoulders, you know? We'll be the giants for like another intelligent race. I think that'd be quite cool. If we archived some of our resources. I know we've sent out satellites and stuff where we've done that, but the most likely like end case situation is what the sun like diminishes in energy, runs out of its nuclear fusion, and the universe ends in a heat death or cold death by either infinitely expanding or just like a cyclical Big Bang. So there's other ways the universe could end, but it's like, what do you really have to lose? Like, why not just enjoy life? And I think people get this twisted. It's not like hedonism. You're not seeking pleasure, because you can try that and you'll find really quickly it doesn't make you happy. I think you have to try it, right? Because otherwise it'll always be like this elusive pleasure seeking like part of you. You feel like you missed out or whatever. And I think what makes us really happy is being useful. And thinking on this bigger time frame is like, I want to play this game, prepare for this game, you know, level up in real life and see how good I can do. And I'm sure there's lots of evolutionary, psychological and social reasons why that's the case and why we're here now with all this amazing, you see behind me is like a building, infrastructure, lights, with, you know, running water and electricity coming to the house. All this amazing technology. I'm recording on my phone right now. And I think if you want to get like lost, a really easy way is to like neglect your conscious being, so your physicality, your mentality, your spirituality, your emotional capabilities, you know, your emotional intelligence, your feminine nature, your masculine nature, your evolutionary nature, your primal nature, your dark side, your bright side, your unconscious, your subconscious. I think if you don't have the humility, you think you're invulnerable, or you're completely nihilistic and think nothing matters, then I think that's completely up to you. I think that's whatever you want, really. But don't bring everyone else down with you. That's the kindest thing you could do. And the most kind, what I want to do, like as an aspiration, as an ambition. People don't like talking about this, like ambitions, like ideal lifestyle setup. What do you want from life when it's over? Probably that's why, because it involves thinking 20 years into the future, and that's what, 20 years closer to death. That's hard for a lot of people. But I think once you like work back from death, it becomes easier to think in the long term. If you live in fear of death, you are afraid to look into the future, even a day, 2 days, a week. You don't have that compassion for your future self. You don't develop that relationship. And I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just sort of thinking out loud, as a lot of my videos. But then there's also this, I think there was this scientific thing I got from Brian Johnson, actually, who's this guy that has like this app, Optimize and Heroic. Pretty cool, like self-improvement content based on basically like stoicism and scientific research. And yeah, one of the scientific research ones he cited was this study where people thought about their future selves going into like an MRI, brain scanning machine, and also compared that to thinking about a stranger and someone they knew. And you could actually tell someone's like hope for the future. You could like determine their hope and therefore how successful they'll be based on if they saw their future self as a stranger or someone they were like familiar with, they knew, like a loved one. You know, like you would, I've done this now, it's like after reading, listening, learning this, and yeah, get your future self to ask you questions and you answer. Or what would he say if he was watching you today? What would he say? I think that's it for today. This perspective is, again, to help you, get the energy you need from life, that inspiration, that perspective, so you can do the work you want to do, you got to do, you need to do, however you want to think about it. But there's work that needs to be done, and I certainly want to do some. And also love, can't forget about that. The universal love, and that needs to be spread, and I think a lot of people are repressing that. But yeah, peace.